Satnam, Namaste, and hello. My name is Bonnie Lynn of Saraswati, and this is a meditation to help process and relieve sadness and grief. We all know that grief is what happens when we lose a loved one or a job or something else. It can be something like aging, and we grieve the younger self. Perhaps the hardest grief to live with, to deal with, to process is that grief that is left behind when a loved one leaves our lives. If we can just realize that they haven't truly left, that we will see them later, that might help us a bit. This is a poem about grief that I came upon some time ago, and it seems to fit in this particular moment. Fire in the heart warms the ribcage where the bird of love sings its song. And we sing with this songbird in silence as the waves wash over us. We're pulled further down under into the rolling, tumbling depths of love, leaving our clothes and bodies behind. We join one heart and one mind as one. We join our hearts and mind as one. No matter the circumstances of mortal deterioration, the soul continues to witness this tale of gain and loss in the world. It knows it is all an illusion, a confusion of life and death. For no matter how great they appear to be in love, love is greater than both. Love is greater than both. It is here when we find our relief from grief and discover true joy. There is no room for fear here, as it has been left out in the cold, alone. Our love has brought us together again, and we finally returned home. We returned home. I think that's beautiful. During this meditation, the practice of HypnoBliss Yoga Nidra, nothing is expected of you except to simply listen. And even if you don't listen, it will still help. So take a moment right now and find a comfortable seat, or perhaps laying down, or even you can listen to this walking if you'd like. There's no right or wrong way to practice this meditation. If you fall asleep, it will still help you. If you find your mind wandering, that's pretty normal, so don't be concerned with that. And also know that the only way it won't work is if you turn it off or leave the room. So just do the best you can to be here now with me, be present. I often say if we go into the past, it can bring up some feelings of sadness and depression because we can't have it again. And if we go into the future, it brings up feelings of anxiety. So I invite you to be present, to be here now with me for this meditation. As you begin to just notice your breath. Notice your breath. Don't try to change it or fix it or evaluate it or quantify it or qualify it. Just notice it, please. And that breath is the breath of this life. As you inhale, feeling the belly expand ever so slightly, and as you exhale, it condenses over and over each day, inhaling and exhaling. It's a bit of a gift right there. Please notice your physical body as it's resting, supported, wherever it is you're listening. Notice how the back of your body might feel light or heavy. Maybe it feels heavy. And the front of your body might feel light or heavy. Maybe it feels light. Notice the way that your front body falls into the back body. Whole body resting and listening and moving as needed. Please bring awareness now to your mind, your busy thinking mind. Remembering there are no wrong ways to be in this moment. No thoughts are bad or good. They simply are. It's okay to think. It's okay not to think. Just simply allow for what comes. Allow for what comes. Noticing emotion in the moment. Noticing this moment of emotion. And before we get too caught up in that emotional body, let's feel into our energy body, ethereal body, a little bit of lightness. Whole body, mind and spirit uniting and resting in stillness, just for now. Scan all of your bodies. Scan all the bodies, the physical body, the emotional body, the thinking mind, the energy, and that light, spiritual, ethereal body. Scan them. See what's there. Become aware as you simply notice the entire face, crown of head, the nose, the eyes, the ears, softening and letting go. Bones of the skull, heavy, heavy, heavy bones, and light fascia or skin that feels light. Eyes resting in their sockets, ears listening gently. The breath continues to inhale and exhale, the cycle of breath. As you make sure to release any tension you might be holding in your jaw, letting go, letting go. Feeling how it's smooth and wet inside the mouth and not smooth and wet outside the mouth. Different. Not one is better or worse, just different. As awareness floats to your third eye, that center of intuition, and to the throat, two shoulders that are resting, and then all of your awareness rests in the heart space just for a moment. Asking yourself, what does my heart need? Could it be peace or joy or something else? Your heart will speak to you in its own voice, and if it doesn't, you can use a statement like, I am peace, I am joy, or simply I am. As you notice your hips becoming heavier and lighter, oh, that duality, both legs, both feet, your arms still and resting. Become aware of your palms and the soles of your feet, as well as the orbs of the eyes, palms, soles, orbs of eyes, with divine light streaming from all of them. And then allow that divine light to wrap around your whole body, sealing you into a safe bubble of healing. Within that bubble of healing, there's a wave, a wave, a wave, a wave of grief. And just like that, you find yourself dissolving into this wave of grief and sadness. Knowing that grief has no timeline, it has no boundaries. We simply allow. It's one of those days. The grief has its way. The grief is palpable. You can feel it in your heart, in your body, in your mind. It's just there. There's no getting away from it. Each step you take around your home, it feels as if you're going through quicksand, mud. It's just almost impossible to move about. You've cried, you've yelled, you've screamed, you've eaten, you've taken a bath, you've done all the self-care things that you know to do, and you realize that being in the house is just not the right thing for you to do. As much as you want to just stay in bed, in your covers all day, which that's fine too, but on this particular day you know that you must evolve, you must rise up and somehow get out of the house. So you wander around, still with this heavy feeling. A few more tissues find their way to your eyes as you cry some more, with all your heart's desire, wishing and hoping that your loved one could return, but knowing this isn't reality, it can never be. And so You know in your heart that the reason you miss them is because you love them so dearly. There's a saying about that grief is evidence that we've had love. Yes. So this is true, but that to me doesn't exactly make things feel better. This grief of this particular day is crushing. It's heavy. It's too heavy. And you want to get away from it. So you do start to move towards your closet where there's clothes. You reach down and grab a pair of pants and a shirt. Reach up for your coat. It's as if each item feels so heavy, heavier than normal. Your mind racing with thoughts telling you you're not doing anything right and blah, blah, blah. And you know it's all just your mind doing mind things. It's like chaos, it's confusion. But you know that you have to go through it. You can't go around it, you can't go under it, you have to go through this. And so you do. One leg, the other leg, before you know it, pants are on, the shirt comes on, shoes. You choose sneakers because you have a suspicion you might be going on a hike. And your sweatshirt. And you still feel heavy. You feel even heavier now with all these clothes on. But in your infinite wisdom, you know this is right for you today. So you begin to walk towards your front door of your home, jump in the car, consult a map, and you find the name of a trail that sounds cool to you. It's called Trees and Meadows. It's not exactly creative, but it's a good name. It gives you an idea that you might see some trees and some meadows. And you begin to drive. And honestly, that feeling of driving, it lifts a little bit of the pain. Just a little bit, just for now, in this moment. As you continue to drive, you're not so sure that the tree and meadow trail is the right one for you. And then you decide to trust your own inner wisdom. And you go to the tree and the meadow one. And then you realize it actually does feel good because it's the one I picked. And with the intention in mind to bring your loved one with you, even though we know that's not possible. Or is it? Without too much more thought. And you've also brought one of your dogs, a dog. Maybe it's yours, maybe it's not. But you have a dog with you on a leash. And you gaze into the dog's eyes for a moment. You love the dog loves you. In fact, it's unconditional love. Beautiful dog. So you're happy to bring this dog on this journey with you. As you begin to walk from your vehicle, dog with you. Cute dog, fluffy dog. There's a bridge in front of you. From the parking lot to what's next is a bridge, and you gaze at the bridge, and you find yourself crying again. Again, this heaviness comes upon you, and then you gaze into the eyes of the dog, and it lifts a little bit. It feels a little bit better. I guess the dog and its unconditional love is helpful. Perhaps it's helpful. You reflect on this feeling of love and sadness at the same time. Love and sadness. You wonder how they're related to your heart space. Love and sadness. How can we hold both in the same space? How can we hold love and sadness in the same space? Somehow we can. Somehow we can. The interplay. And with all the resolve you have, you begin your walk, crossing over this bridge. You take a moment to look at the bridge, notice its structure, you notice how it's built, you notice the water under it, the color of the water, its clearness, its crispness. You listen for the sound of this water, the running stream. And you're pretty glad that there's a bridge to cross because you didn't want to get your feet wet. And you begin to cross the bridge. The dog has already crossed the bridge because it's excited to be out in nature. But you're not walking as quickly. You stop in the middle of the bridge. Not even really sure you want to cross it completely, but you know you really probably should since the dog is across it, and it just feels like you should. There's a lot of I should in grief, isn't there? So you should cross the bridge, and you do. Once you get across the bridge, your mood changes, your mind changes just a bit. There's a sense of excitement of what will come next. And you think for a moment that in your home, you didn't think there would ever be anything coming next. You thought it was already over. Already over. You notice yourself wandering through this dark path in the woods and suddenly stepping into the meadow, which is cloudy yet poofy clouds, the nice kind. And it's open. And you take a moment to notice the interplay there, the darkness, the coolness, the calmness of the woods, and the brightness, the lightness, and the open vastness of the meadow before you. You notice the way the clouds seem to dance with the sun. The clouds dance with the sun. As you listen for sounds, you hear the sound of laughter. You see nobody, but you hear laughter. You hear the birds singing their bird songs. It's loud, it's amplified, it's a beautiful day. You gaze up at the sunshine and allow it to warm you where you felt so very cold before. So cold. You feel alive. You feel alive now. You felt kind of dead inside before. Alive and dead, same time. The interplay of life. Would there be life without death? Would there be death without life? Would there be darkness without light? Would there be light without darkness? And so you wander through the meadow, one foot in front of the other. It doesn't feel like it did at your apartment, or your home. It feels different now. You feel much better, but still playing this heavy light game, this game where you compare and contrast. And your mind is settling and doing what it needs to do to get you through to the next moment. You don't mind. You don't mind at all. You watch as the dog just takes off running like free and wild and having joy. And you want that. You want to lift the sadness for a moment, just for a moment, and feel the joy. And you take a moment to think about that interplay as well. The freedom of joy and the constriction of grief and sadness. And realizing sometimes there are states of mind, and sometimes the body is holding the grief. Sometimes the body is holding the lightness. Sometimes the mind does them. And you go back and forth with the interplay of that as well. As you continue to wander, you become so fascinated by all of the beautiful things around you. You see flowers, all colors of flowers, beautiful flowers. How could it be that the flowers bloomed when your loved one no longer is with you? Life is for the living. Life goes on. And so does the soul of our loved ones. And because you can, you imagine that your loved one is right there by you. They have decided to join you on this journey. But they're not of this world. This isn't as if they're alive, because we know they're on the other side. But they're with you. They're with you now. And this brings joy to your heart as you remember the love. You become focused on remembering the love and not focused on remembering the sadness and separation. Connection and separation. Another interplay, another duality. In this moment, at this time, you feel connected and you feel joyous, connected and joyful. As you gaze into the eyes of your loved one, you feel calm and joyous. And together, you decide, let's hang out since we can. You continue on your journey, the winding pathway that you've chosen, knowing that the open vastness of the meadow is at your back, and you can go back to that soon. But for now, with your loved one with you, those There's a desire to be curious. Curious, and you feel a little braver. In your heart, it just feels a little bit less painful because they're with you. Even though you know this is a journey, you're quite capable of feeling the love. The love is overwhelmingly beautiful. You gaze up at trees, at sunshine, into eyes of loved one, and you just feel this with every fiber of your being. The sun shining, the sounds in the distance, the sunshine and the distant sounds. You feel as though everything is right in your world. And for a moment, you realize that you can make this happen. In time, you can make this happen. You can find joy and purpose, all within states of the mind, as you continue to journey on the path. You know that joy and sadness are states of mind. These emotions will come and go. So you make a choice. You make a choice to embrace this joy in this moment, right now, being present with the joy. You become extremely curious about a butterfly, and you gaze over at your loved one, and they are as curious as you. It's almost as if you always thought the same thing at the same time, even though you really didn't. And you both look at this butterfly in all its beautiful brilliance, and you laugh out loud. And you wonder, what's it like to fly? And what's it like to be so carefree and yellow, because it's a yellow butterfly? Gazing at the butterfly, gazing at your loved one, and all the beauty of nature. Somehow you know all is right in the world, in your universe. All is right in the universe. Holding hands, you swing your hands together, and lots of laughter happens. And you come upon a most beautiful waterfall. And you don't know why or how. Suddenly, hearing the sound of the rushing waterfall, you're in it. You and your loved one. Without a thought, without a doubt, you are going down that waterfall. And it's fun. You gaze at the water, but you really, really need to focus because you are going down a waterfall. And the two of you begin to laugh and laugh some more. Fear is not a thing. You don't feel any fear at all. You just feel fun. And then you realize that's what's been missing from my life. I haven't allowed myself to have fun. As you crash into the bottom of the waterfall, the pool of water, the still water, you take a moment to gaze up at the waterfall, looking at all its beauty. You listen once again to the sound of the water rushing down. And think about water for a while, as you have in the past. Can I be like water? Can I flow with ease and grace? Can I go around things instead of trying to go through them? It depends. And you begin to splash about, feeling the temperature of the water just right. Seeing to the bottom of the pool of water, seeing beautiful stones of many, many colors. Noticing everything, becoming aware of everything around you. And somewhere in the middle of all this, you realize that it's almost as if when you jumped into the falls, you left your sadness behind. You left the sadness behind. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a thought. It just happened. It just happened. And with that, you notice the mouth beginning to turn its corners up into what's called a smile. You gaze at your loved one, knowing full well that they are on the other side, but they're with you. And you wonder, after this journey, will I be able to recreate this, or will I know this? And yes, you will know this. In your heart, you feel such relief with this knowing that your loved one is with you. They are with you, just different. And together, you decide to trudge out of the water because you've had enough of that. And you gaze at your loved one, and you know that it's time for you to end your little visit, looking into their eyes, holding hands, and you say, "I will see you later." And they laugh because they know something you don't. And they say, "Yes, yes, you sure will." And you also hug because you can, because it's right. You feel the warmth of their body, even though you know they don't have one. But you feel it. You feel it with every fiber of your being. It powers you. It's like the sunshine. It gives you power. It stokes your fire. And as you let go of their hand and they go off into the distance, it's almost as if they kind of vanished. Yet you know they just stepped back into the light, as one day we all will. You don't feel that sharp pain of loss anymore. You know that you can be close to them on some level, and there's some comfort there as you continue your journey, meandering through nature, full of life, feeling every ounce of your being just a little bit lighter, a little bit more joyous. Connecting your mind, body, and spirit together seems to be working for you. The sun beginning to set. You notice the colors. You take it all in, and you pray, or you have an intention that this will last. I can keep these feelings with me. I don't have to have grief pressing on me and crushing me all the time. But when it does, we simply allow. The moon begins to rise. It's brilliant, it's full, it's beautiful. The sun, just as beautiful. The sun isn't any more beautiful than the moon, or the moon than the sun. There's duality, or is there? Or is there not? And then you just throw your hands up in the air and you say, who cares? And you enjoy the beauty of what is. You listen to the sounds of the evening coming upon the meadow and the woods, hearing crickets do their cricket song, crickets. Hearing other evening sounds as you make your way back towards the bridge. You see the bridge this time, and you don't feel that hesitancy that you did in the beginning. You feel adventurous. It's dark, but the full moon, it illuminates the landscape. It illuminates you. You feel very, very much like love and light. You know that you'll feel darkness and you'll feel sadness, but in this moment, you allow yourself to feel love and light. Love and light. In the dark, there's duality. As you begin to cross the bridge, one foot in front of the other, this time taking a break in the middle of the bridge, just to compare and contrast in your own mind the sound of the water compared to how it was much earlier in the day. The sound of your foot on the bridge. The way that the water looks as it flows. The way that the moon dances and sparkles upon the water. You reflect on that for a moment. There's so much beauty. You drink it all in. You keep it for yourself. It's yours. You don't have to leave it behind. It can come with you. As you continue to cross the bridge, you gaze back over your shoulder and wanted to keep all of this deliciousness with you. And you make a promise to yourself, I will keep this, and I'll revisit it whenever I can. It's all within you, and you know this now. And with that, you feel refreshed and renewed as you make your way back towards your home. And this time, you're going home because you want to. And you don't think that you're gonna end up back in that sludge, that mud. You walk towards your town and you find your home. As you walk in the door, you still feel the lightness, you feel the ease. There's a tinge of sadness, And you think maybe, just maybe, the grief has gotten off of my head. It's not crushing anymore. It's walking beside you. You gaze next to you and you don't see your loved one there, but you feel their presence. And you feel a shift. Something shifted. Something has shifted. And you bring your hands to your heart space and you say, yes, I open my heart to joy. And at the same time, you say, I open my heart to sadness. Balancing the two, knowing they're both going to happen and you're going to be okay. You make your way towards your bed, where you started. You lay back down. This time the sheets feel extra good, the blanket extra cozy and comfy. Extra cozy and comfy. You feel as if you are cared for, protected, and whole. Cared for, protected, and whole. You begin to drift off to sleep. And before that happens, you begin to realize, oh, I'm still on this journey. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and toes. Perhaps roll your head side to side. Or you may make a choice, if you are resting in bed for real, then you may choose to go to sleep now. If not, I invite you to continue to make small movements, a full body stretch, whatever it is you need to bring yourself back to alertness. Eventually coming up to sit. And please bring your hands together at your heart center with gratitude for the journey you were able to take, for the love that you shared with your loved one on this planet, and the love that you still can feel. Love never dies. It's with us always. With the hands still at the heart center, take a deep breath in and then exhale as well. Remember, the breath is life. Bring that life in, that force in, and then exhale what doesn't serve you. Feel the beautiful divine light within you. Feel and know the divine, beautiful light within me. And together, let's honor that. Namaste, Satnam. I wish you all good. And if